everybody, it's Zoella. Welcome back to my channel. Hope you're all having a lovely day. Well, I feel like today's video is going to definitely be a trip down memory lane because my makeup for today's video is going to be using all products inspired by the original beauty gurus or YouTubers. Some of them are even dating back before I even started my channel. So the makeup products that I will be doing for today's look are all products inspired by YouTube, where a lot of YouTubers used it in their makeup routines. Before I started my channel, I spent a lot of time watching YouTube videos. So a lot of the beauty ones that I watched included Zoella, sophdoesnails, Emma's Rectangle, Tanya Bay, and more recently Nikkitutorials. One of my personal favourite videos of hers is getting her dogs to choose her makeup because she owns a dog that is the exact same breed to the one that I used to own. Ben, I know you're watching this somewhere. I love you so much, buddy. Right then, let's get right into this video. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with a concealer. Now, this was my absolute holy grail before I even started my channel because I went through several of these. But the first one I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be using this to tone down my spots. And this is the Collection Lasting Perfection Concealer. The one I've got is in the shade green because I do have a little bit of redness. I remember when I used to watch Zoella's videos, she used to use this all the time in her makeup videos. Spring and summer ones were my favourites because you start to see more of the brighter colours and you really start to get the bronzer out and it looks a bit more fun. I do also like her autumn ones because they're all sort of colours that will go with like golds and bronzes, which would go with my eye shade. But this was a really nice affordable one. I think this was £2.99 at the point I bought this. It will have gone up since then, and I've just been made aware that it has been reformulated, so I would definitely say it is more of a heavier coverage. But putting that on one side, this lasted a really nice amount of time, and it was also a nice coverage that I used to use under here and on any spots that I had. For my normal concealer, I'm going to be going in with this Maybelline Fit Me concealer, which is what Nikkitutorials use. So the colour I'm using is 05. I used to have 015, but I used that up, so I don't have that anymore. And then I'm just going to be using a Real Techniques brush. Oh man, that was another channel that I forgot to mention that I used to love watching. The Sam and Nick Chapman series. And one of my favourite ones was an interview makeup look that they did because it helped me put myself together from when I started to get my first job interviews. And then they've also taught me what purpose each brush was used for. Might need to use my mirror so you can see where I'm applying this. Okay, so now that my spots are a little bit more under control, I now need to put my foundation on. Now this was another one of Zoella's absolute fave foundations, and this is my absolute favourite summer foundation, especially as we are in May and heading towards summer, and this is one of a lot of people's in the UK's absolute holy grail, the Bourjois Healthy Mix Foundation. I did a review on this last year, and I think this is one of my favourite foundations for the summer because it's not too sticky. It's a nice thin foundation and it's a hydrating one too, and the smell of it is absolutely fantastic. Oh my god, I'm bringing back my teenage years using a lot of these foundations. I know that Bourjois was discontinued and recently brought back, but I'm really happy that it has been brought back because if they still do this foundation, I want to try and get some more of it because it's like really nice. The smell of it is amazing. It's like apricot yogurt. I mean, how many brands can I name do a foundation that smells like apricot yogurt? And it lasts a really nice amount of time on the skin as well. It covers up any imperfections like on top of my concealer, and then it also gives a nice glow to my skin. Anti-fatigue and radiance reveal foundation up to 24-hour hydration. So, and this is a one that I plan, if I was to go on holiday, I plan to take that away with me because when the weather's hot, I don't really want to be wearing anything that's too like sticky or claggy. So this will be a really good drugstore summer foundation. I also have the Healthy Mix Serum where if you are not a fan of foundation, then this is definitely an alternative because if you're in a job that's quite strict on makeup, or if you go to school where you might not be allowed to wear makeup, this will definitely give that no makeup effect. And then towards the end of this video, I'm going to put on a bit of powder. One of my favourite powders, and I think the only powder that I use, is the Rimmel Stay Matte, which, all thanks to Zoella, became my absolute favourite one. Now I'm going to put a bit of colour on my face, and to do that I'm going to be doing the Bourjois chocolate bronzer. So I believe this was done by Emma's Rectangle and Floral Princess in their original beginnings on YouTube, and I'm using a Real Techniques multitask cheek brush, very similar to the contour brush. I actually managed to scrape the top off it, so I managed to bring this absolute wonder of a bronzer back to life. Because when it started to dry out a little bit, I cried, because I thought I was going to end up losing this absolute gem of a bronzer. And moving on to blusher, and this is the one that Nikkitutorials featured in her My Dog's Pig My Makeup, which I absolutely love, with the Westie, the Benefit Georgia Peach, which I absolutely loved all through lockdown. And I'm going to be using the same brush, and actually I'm happening to use that as my mirror. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use the same brush and then pretty much apply that on top of the bronzer. This is a blush and highlighter in one, and it's such an unusual shape. I'm really sad that it's been discontinued, but a great alternative to that is the Kiko, I think it's the Kiko Baked blush in the shade 12, because it's such a nice golden and quite a unique colour. So this is not your typical brown, mauve, pink blushes, so this will give a nice glow, especially when I have a tan as well. So this would be a great one to use for summertime. Just going to put a little bit more concealer under there. And I also plan to take a little bit of this onto my eyelid before I move on to my eyes. And then I'm just going to be using the concealer brush just to work that in. From where I'm doing this in my viewfinder, I don't know if I've used like too light a shade, but never mind. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to finish off my eyelids, and I'm going to move on to eyes. Now, one of my personal favourite ones, and the one I actually ended up repurchasing off Amazon, is a one that sophdoesnails uses. And this was from one of her YouTube beginners. And this is an absolute favourite of mine. I featured this in my 2023 favourites. This is the MUA Undressed 12 Pan eyeshadow palette. And as you can see, some of the much loved, the shades that I've been using the most are on the top row. So this one here and this one here, and also a couple of shades here. Because I'm wearing pink today, I'm going to go for a bit of a pinkier look. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take another one of the Real Techniques brushes, the base shadow brush. I'm going to go in with the shade Phone, and then I'm going to just use that as a light layer transition shade. Followed by the shade directly underneath that, which is called Tawny. Now, I wouldn't say Tawny is a dark, pale, mauvey pink shade, but I would definitely say that's more of the shade next to it. And then I'm just going to be working this into the socket line. I'm not going to go in too far. And then I'm going to be working this on the outer third of the eye. And then I'm going to go in with the shade Rose Ash, my absolute favourite, because you can see quite a big dint in it. And I'm going to apply this on the rest of the eyelid. Moving on to mascara, I'm now going to go in with my absolute favourite mascara, which Ariana Grande used in her video dating back to when she was on Victoria's, which is actually starting to go runny. The Clinique High Impact Mascara. And I love how this can take you from natural to voluminous. It's starting to go a bit runny as well, so I'm not sure whether it will be time to replace it or whether it's a sign that I've just had this for way too long. And the last thing that I'm doing is lips. Now, one of my absolute favourites, and this was thanks to Floral Princess, one of my favourite lip combos is this, the Kiko Smart Fusion Lip Pencil in the shade 05, which I have featured in quite a few of my recent videos, and MAC Peach Blossom, which is an absolute favourite of my nude lipsticks, because you can never go amiss with a MAC lipstick, because the first one I actually collected was the shade Cosmo, and as the years went by I ventured more into the nudes because I started to appreciate my natural beauty. I feel like the lighting is better in this one because on this side, because when I was doing it on the other side of the table it was quite shadowy and I had to like try and do concealer, believing I'd missed quite a few areas. So there you have it, guys. I feel like that was a nice little trip down memory lane. I plan on doing another trip down memory lane of using products that I used to love and really go through when I was about 17 or 18, because it's nice to give old favourites another shot, especially because when I've tried new products and absolutely love new products, these seem to be cast aside and forgotten about, so it was nice to give them a chance to see the light of day again. If you enjoyed today's video, please be sure to smash the thumbs up button, because I have a lot more nostalgic content coming your way in May, June and July, especially as we head towards prom. I do plan on doing a prom look similar to the exact one that I used for my prom, because it was a really nice one, especially as we head towards 10 years. How is it 10 years? In the meantime, if you enjoyed today's video, please be sure to comment and